Hey, what's up? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, we're going to talk about Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And I want to make this video because I did a consultation with an individual yesterday, and the decision process that the individual was going through was, would it be more beneficial to try to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy or to go through the process with our company, which would be uh, going through a process of settling debt and then going towards credit repair towards the end. And I've made videos on how we work with people on this type of process. It's different than what we do for the credit repair. It's in a way it's like a coaching service because we get people into the right mindset, and it takes a while. I had one client, the one that did a testimonial where we were actually able to save his businesses and get him out, get that debt, some of it forgiven, some of it settled. But it literally changed his life, and he did not have to file bankruptcy, did not have to lose any assets, and was able to move on with his life. But it did take 4 years for that process, and it was over $250,000 that he was had hanging over his head. People who would fit this situation is uh, people who don't want to lose assets, who don't want to lose cash that they've set aside. Uh, because when you go into a Chapter 7, there's what's called a means test. And if you don't pass the means test, they're going to end up putting you into a Chapter 13. And you can look all over the internet, you can look everywhere. When you're stuck into a Chapter 13, I just ended up doing one for with my other company. Individual was in a Chapter 13, and I said, well, how long are they going to have to pay? And they said it's going to be 30 something thousand dollars is what they're going to have to pay. And I was like looking at what they're taking out, and I'm like, this is going to last for like 10 years. And so it's your own decisions on what you need to do. Everybody's decision is based on their financial situation, based on the assets they have. But if you are considering Chapter 7 bankruptcy, uh, what you need to do is you need to look at all of the options. You need to talk with an attorney that's going to file it for you, or if you're going to file it yourself. And you need to understand that there is a means test. And the means test is what really gets people in trouble. Well, not in trouble, is what ends up getting people to where they have to get moved over to a Chapter 13 repayment plan. And this usually puts people into a worse situation, because if they wasn't able to make payments, even though it's going to be a lower payment, that what they needed to do is really to have a fresh start. But in 2006, Congress changed the bankruptcy laws because obviously some people were using bankruptcy to get out of paying debt. So they uh, made it to where there was a means test, and and what it did, it disqualified. Looking at the records that I was able to look at, probably 75% of the people did not qualify now for Chapter 7. Basically, if you're going to qualify for Chapter 7, you're going to be mainly in a situation where you've really in a way almost lost everything. So the means test that they're going to that they're going to use to calculate if you're able to do a Chapter 7 is going to be this. And I'm going to also go through what we do for our clients, but I'm going to tell you what you need to be prepared to answer with them. Is that they're going to look at your wages, they're going to look at your salary, tips, bonuses, overtime, and commissions. They're going to look at your gross income from business, professional, or farm, all of that stuff. They're going to look at interest, dividends, and royalties that you're getting from outside investments. They're going to look at rental and real property income. They're going to look at any child support or spousal support that you're getting. Unemployment compensation is also figured into this, which is that was not figured, because if you're getting unemployment compensation, you're obviously in a bad financial situation. But they're going to actually put this information into there, and they're going to look at your pension, retirement income, workers' compensation, annual annuity payments, state disability insurance, and the income that is excluded. So that's income that is included. Income excluded from the calculation is tax refund, Social Security, retirement benefits, Social Security, disability, supplemental income, and temporary assistance for family needs. So they're going to exclude that. Also, something that attorneys, for some reason, don't seem to disclose to people right away when they're talking to them about a Chapter 7 is that they're going to look at your average monthly income for 6 months before filing bankruptcy and the state's median family income. So just because you ran into hard times, they're not going to care. You might have been making $100,000 a month. I mean, $100,000 a year, and then you went down to $50,000. But if the state's median income for families is $50,000, you're not going to qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. They're going to try to push you into a Chapter 13. And it states it right here that if the debtor fails the means test, may file for Chapter 13, and that's what the trustee is going to, try to push them into doing. And that's what I see most people end up, with their attorneys, end up pushing them into. Um, Also, according to the stats, most people who end up in a 13 end up in a Chapter 7. But you might be saying, well, that's good because they ended up moving over to a 7 and they ended up wiping everything out. Well, you can't be moved over into a 7 right away. You're going to have to actually go through the means test again. And if you pass the means test after you were put into a Chapter 13, that means that you went through another full year of frustration and paying out money that you were not able to afford to pay. But not to say that a Chapter 13 can't help people, not to say that a Chapter 7 can't help people, but I think that people need to have more clarity in what is entailed. Now, for individual that is a regular W-2 worker, don't have assets, don't have cash, Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 is probably the right decision if you can, figure out with your attorney how you can get that to work for you. What I mainly specialize in is for business owners who do not want to lose their assets, who do not want to put their cash that they've saved at risk. They don't want to have to declare it. They want to figure out a solution without having to file bankruptcy, without having to look like they've lost everything. If they might have a building or real estate, they don't want to lose that. They don't want to lose their equity in their home if that's not able to be declared on homestead, because their house might be valued over a certain amount that is allowed with a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13. What we specialize in is we set up a plan after reviewing the individual situation, after reviewing if they have financial means to recover. We figure out a plan to help them go through first a process of pushing hard to get 1099-C debt cancellations with their creditors. This can usually be done with the credit card companies' unsecured debt. Let me tell you, and this may not seem fair. I don't know why this happens this way, but it seems that if a business owner had a high amount of credit card debt. One of the examples that I have on my website is one that individual had over $36,000 with in credit card debt with one credit card company that ended up being forgiven. The reasons why I believe that we are more able to get debt cancellations for business owners rather than being able to get them for regular W-2 workers is that the credit card companies flat out just look at them at two different ways. Uh, with the business, they look at, well, it's provable that the business went through a financial disruption. It's provable that they don't have that same income, that they're not going to be able to pay that if they, if they don't want to move towards doing a settlement that can be agreed upon. They usually just push and do a 1099-C cancellation of debt. And I mean, there's no, I think that that's from looking at all of the ones that were done, and it were mainly with business owners. Uh, this is that must be the reason why, is because they could see that there's no rebound on there. When they're looking at it with a W-2 worker, they're looking at, okay, we have a possibility of garnishing wages. Uh, they're working somewhere. We're able to go after, their funds that way. Even though, and it's the crazy thing about it is I've seen them go after people who owed a couple of thousand to the credit card, and they will choose to go that route. But you have business owners who owe 30, $40,000, and they go the other route. So it has to be that the business is able to, show that there's a financial hardship and that they're not going to be able to recover, and it's either going to be a settlement or it's going to be moving towards a 1099 cancellation of debt. The other thing that we do is that we do move into lining up all of their debts, and we start approaching each creditor one at a time, depending on the financial situation of that business owner on making those settlements. Not to say that this doesn't work for individuals, because we most definitely do this for individuals, but we just find that business owners have more access to funds. Not to say that individuals don't have those access, but business owners seem to have more access to capital to push hard on doing settlements with the creditors that they have. And those could be creditors that they would have a personal guarantee on. With business owners, if they did not do a personal guarantee on certain debts, just simply closing the business actually makes those debts actually get canceled out, and they can't go after the business owner for them. Also, with business owners, um, they have that. Well, business owners have the option of where they don't have to declare that cash if they're looking at going our option. They don't have to declare that cash. They don't have to declare their assets, and which is the number one reason why they go our route. Because if they went Chapter 7, they're going to have to disclose all of that information, and it's going to, a lot of them don't want to lose that because they've worked hard to accumulate those assets and that cash, that they don't want to go that route. And most business owners, when they are, they're mainly looking at the next thing. Whatever they were doing at that time maybe isn't working anymore. They're looking at utilizing the cash as much as they can save on going into their next opportunity. So this is going to be something that we're going to start pushing more in, and kind of redesigning the credit repair shop, where we're going to use this same strategy that we've been using for business owners. We're going to put together a program that will be partly coaching, and that's another thing that I want to say too. one of the reasons why we've mainly utilized this for business owners is that dealing with business owners, I already knew that they had a certain mindset, that they were not of the mindset of something had to happen today, tomorrow, the next month. They knew that it was going to be a long haul, because if you're facing, 50, 60, 100, $200,000 in debt, you know that that's not going to be something that's going to be solved overnight. And with moving this over with regular credit repair clients, mainly you that are watching these videos, that are not business owners, is that I had to figure out a way to make this work to where it would be more of an engagement process. And I think what we're going to be doing, and I had made some notes, is that we're going to have to make it partially a coaching type service. And we would be presenting this and offering this in three different parts, because if we cannot get you into the right mindset of understanding what has to go on to be able to make this successful for you, it just wouldn't work for you. And I can tell you that everyone that I've done this for with business owners, all of them achieved the 800 plus credit score. But it did take work, and it took, understanding on their part that it was going to take time. There's a lot of back and forth that we had to do with creditors and debt collectors, but it could get done, but it's not something that's done overnight. And when I looked at what we do with them and how we could make this work with regular consumer credit, it would have to be a coaching type service. And we're going to be introducing that very soon. And if you're interested in it, I want you to comment below the video so we can, so I can see how much the interest is. And with the ultimate goal is to get you over an 800 plus score, because I know how to do it. I've achieved it for myself. I actually 834 is where I'm at right now, and I've been able to do this with those business clients. And this is something that I would like to offer as a coaching program for either my YouTube subscribers or other people that are just coming from TikTok and the other advertisements that we have out there. Because I think that this is probably the next phase that we need to take the credit repair shop into. It will be a service that the amount is a lot higher than what we charge for our regular services, our regular done-for-you services, because we're going to need participation. I'm also going to be participating with live webinars. There's going to be certain things that we need people to understand and know how to do. Even though we're going to have done-for-you parts, there's going to be parts that we're going to need people to understand on what we need them to do for themselves. And partly on that is just training their getting their mindset pointing in the right direction, because it's going to be a challenge. Remember, anything that you haven't achieved before is always going to be some things that you have to do that is a little bit different. It's just like doing anything. It just feels and looks a little bit different. So we'll get into that later. But I wanted, back to what this whole video was about, was people are making decisions right now, especially with the way the economy is going, where some people are able to make more money, some people are finding it hard to get themselves reestablished, is that Chapter 7 bankruptcy, Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and going the route of just doing settlements and, going a long haul. I wanted to make this video to allow to kind of, let you know that there are different options, but to be very careful about going into, not being very careful, because attorneys are honest. They're going to tell you, how it is, but you just need to know and understand that there is a means test that you're going to have to pass. And if you don't pass that means test, you don't have to go into a 13. You can choose an option if your finances afford you to go a different route where you're going to push for settlements. As a matter of fact, all of the commercials that you hear out there where they're talking about if you have credit card debt or medical debt, unsecured types of debt that's out there, where they're going to put you into a repayment program. It's not actually a repayment program. What they're doing is they're getting all of your debts, and you're going to pay a certain amount into an escrow, and they're going to approach those companies one at a time to see about working out a settlement. The only thing that we do that's different than what they're doing with that is that we don't charge a percentage. They charge a percentage of what they settle for you. We just charge a flat fee. Depending on how many accounts you got, we just charge a flat fee, and we just go through and get the work done for you. And it saves you money by going through our process. Even though for this particular client, uh, the amount for 1 year of service is $3,500 plus the attorney's fees, which for uh, uh, producing certain documents that we want to have presented by the attorney that we use, that we contract with. Uh, that could be upwards of $1,000 to $2,000, but that's depending on certain situations. Not everyone needs our attorney services. Uh, that we provide. Not everyone needs that, but in this specific case, this individual does need it. So if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, what makes us different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters. I have a free pack where I do ask for a donation. I don't care. Give $1, $2, $5, $50. It can literally save you time, frustration, money, more importantly, and those letters do work. I also have a paid version that you can get that's $29.95, and they can help you stop debt collectors right in their tracks. Thank you for your time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.